Alright, here are 10 fun facts about America even Americans don't know. Say, how much do you know about the US? If you're from the land of opportunity, you're probably thinking, probably everything there is to know. I do live here after all. But were you aware that the Library of Congress could have a record of some of your social media posts? Or that some of the most famous American landmarks looked a whole lot different in the past? Let's see which of these 10 little-known facts about the United States will manage to surprise you the most. And don't forget that we have tons more videos with eye-opening facts here on The Bright Side of Life. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. That way, you won't miss any of our daily updates. Now, let's kick this list off with something we all associate with the US. Number 10. Out-of-this-world flag. First off, the way the flag is used in America can be a bit unusual for outsiders. In most countries around the world, the flag is usually reserved to mark a governmental building or some official location. In the US, however, you can see the Star-Spangled Banner waving in the wind at fast food joints, standing tall in people's yards or attached to their houses, and printed on all kinds of stuff like clothing, pillows, and coffee mugs. As such, many Americans love their flag and have traveled with it to all corners of the earth and beyond. In fact, there were actually 6 American flags placed on the moon during the Apollo landings. It's unknown whether all those flags are still standing, but the ones that remain have most likely been bleached completely white from exposure to radiation from the sun. Number 9. Americans on the Moon. So, speaking of the moon, no other country has walked where Apollo 11 mission commander Neil Armstrong took his memorable one small step on July 20, 1969. And while we all recognize him as the first man on the moon, 11 other American astronauts through 6 Apollo moon landings have trod its surface as well. If Armstrong was the first, not many people know that the last man to stand on the moon was Apollo 17 commander Eugene Cernan. He left the lunar surface on December 14, 1972, saying, "I take man's last step from the surface, back home for some time to come." Pretty epic, huh? Number 8. The greatest of the Great Lakes. Of course, most Americans are well aware that Lake Superior is the greatest of the Great Lakes, hence the name. I'll bet many of you don't know that the Native American Ojibwe name for the lake is Gitchigami. But no matter what it's called, did you know that it's also the largest freshwater body in the world in terms of surface area? Measuring about 31,700 square miles. This lake is about the size of North Carolina. And with a volume of 2,900 cubic miles, Lake Superior is big enough to cover the entirety of North and South America in a foot of water. Bring your boots, it's that massive. The US shares this honor with Canada, since Lake Superior, along with all the others except for Lake Michigan, washes up on both countries' borders. Number 7. The most visited museums in America. 2 museums are tied as the most visited in America. The Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum, located in Washington, D.C., houses the world's largest display of aviation and space artifacts, including the Wright Flyer and the command module from the Apollo 11 moon landing. Remember Neil Armstrong? That was his ride. Now, the other is New York's Metropolitan Museum of Art, which has over 2 million works from some of the greatest artists in the world, like Monet, Rembrandt, Renoir, Van Gogh, Picasso, and many others. Both museums saw around 7 million visitors in 2017, tying them for the number 3 spot on the list of the world's most visited museums. Second place goes to the National Museum of China in Beijing. And the number 1 spot belongs to… no, not the world's biggest rocking chair in Casey, Illinois, although that's really cool. Number 1 is the Louvre in Paris. Number 6. America's favorite drink. So what do you think America's favorite drink is? Go ahead and guess down in the comments. Tea, coffee, soda, juice? If you think soda, you wouldn't be entirely wrong, since it was the top beverage choice for Americans until recently. Now, the crown has been passed to, drumroll please, bottled water. Yep, looks like the US is slowly ditching the sugary, bubbly stuff for good old H2O. The stuff you used to drink for free and now you pay for. Very American. Did you also think of coffee? Well, you can give yourself some points for that one, as it's America's favorite when it comes to flavored drinks. In 2016, Americans consumed 88.8 gallons of coffee per capita. So now you know why your favorite coffee shop is always so crowded. Number 5. The Library of Congress Archives. The Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. is the largest library in the world, holding over 167 million items like rare books, manuscripts, photographs, recordings, and plenty of other important and historical materials. It also works as the official research library for the United States Congress and is home to the U.S. Copyright Office. It's basically a sea of knowledge, and tweets apparently. According to the library, they've been archiving tweets since 2006 to preserve a record of knowledge and creativity for Congress and the American people. So, if you've ever posted anything embarrassing, it might just be in their archives. Luckily though, in December 2017, the library announced that they'd stop collecting tweets from everyone and would be way more selective from 2018 onwards. Number 4. Hollywood Land. The Hollywood sign is a symbol of dreams come true for thousands of hopefuls that move to Los Angeles in pursuit of a career in the land of entertainment. The 352-foot-long sign is made up of 45-foot-tall letters and cost around $21,000 to build back in 1923. That would be about $300,000 by today's rate. But when it was installed back then, this iconic sign actually read Hollywood Land instead of Hollywood. It was originally meant to be a real estate ad for an upscale district that was only supposed to stand for about a year and a half. But with the rise of the cinema industry, ownership passed to the city of Los Angeles in the 1940s, and the final 4 letters were removed to reflect the sign we know today. Number 3. Halloween craze. Do you celebrate Halloween? Well, the numbers show that millions of Americans love this spooky holiday enough to make all kinds of expensive purchases. According to the National Retail Federation, more than 175 million Americans are estimated to participate in the holiday in 2018, and they'll spend around $9 billion. Most of the expenses will go towards candy, followed by decorations, costumes, and greeting cards. Although Halloween has ancient Celtic origins from what is now present-day Ireland, it's been a popular holiday in the US since the early 20th century. Looks like it'll continue being one really fun, spooky, and expensive night. And parents will again swipe candy from their kids once they go to bed. Go ahead, you sticky-fingered parents, raise your hands. Ooh, there's a lot of you. Number 2. The Empire State Building lightning strikes. The tallest building in America is the One World Trade Center at 1,776 square feet. But for a long time, from 1931 to 1972, it was the 1,250-foot-tall Empire State Building that held this title. And when it comes to the Empire State Building, lightning does strike twice in the same place. At such a height, it's bound to attract lightning, which is why there's a lightning rod installed on the antenna at the top of the building. According to its website, the building is zapped an average of 23 times per year. Another tall structure in New York, the Statue of Liberty, is also hit by lightning occasionally. But thankfully, Lady Liberty is grounded by a granite pedestal and massive concrete. Speaking of which, Number 1. The Statue of Liberty. The whole world associates America with the Statue of Liberty. It's a national monument that's been featured in all kinds of movies and acts as our symbol of freedom. Now, you might be familiar with the fact that the statue was a gift from France to the United States to commemorate 100 years of independence from the British Crown. A lesser-known fact is that Lady Liberty looked quite different when she first arrived in New York from Paris. When the copper statue was completed and brought to America in 1886, it was more like the color of a penny. But through the years, the copper has oxidized, changing the color statue from a shiny golden brown to the greenish-blue patina we know today. By the way, you can climb the 162 steps from the pedestal to the crown for a unique view through the tiny windows up there. But there's only a very cozy 6 feet of space there, and you'll need to buy tickets well in advance. And there you have it, Brightsiders! Do you know anything else about the items on this list? Or maybe some other little-known facts about the U.S.? Have you ever visited any of the landmarks mentioned today? Let us know in the comments below. If at least one of these facts were new to you, then give this video a like and share it with your friends. Don't forget to click subscribe to stay on the bright side of life.